It's 2 a.m. The place is gonna go. The bartender looks as though he knows.
Wait, could we have the same table we had yesterday?
Welcome, everybody. This is the Edgyverse podcast. This is episode 20. It is Mother's Day podcast. We're here to talk to a couple of mothers here to get their insights on motherhood and what they like, what they dislike, triumphs, trials, tribulations, all that. We're going to talk to our guests. We got Chris here. He's just a fill-in, I guess. We hate him. Everybody knows we hate Chris.
Everybody hates Chris.
Everybody hates Chris.
We got Mercedes as our new guest. We got Shaylin and Whitney here. This is their first time on the podcast, so this is going to be interesting, guys. All right, so we're going to get right down to it. 1 to 10, how great do you like being a mom? I'm going to start with you, Shaylin.
7.5.
Whitney.
I'm going to go with an 8.
You can go with an 8?
8. Solid 8.
Mercedes.
Yeah, I'm like, immediately I said 9, but I might have to back it up a little bit to an 8. But I mean, like, I'm there.
Yeah?
I'm there.
I'm going to stay with you. Why? Why would you say that?
Just because it has its, like, pros and cons. Like, I love being a mother because it gives me, I mean, it's been too many times where it's been like, I ain't got nothing to live for, you know? And I do. As long as I'm a mother, I have something to live for.
So the kids play a big part in it.
For sure, for sure.
Shaylin?
I say what I say because I'm in the teenage years with 2 of my kids, and they are giving me the blues. And when I say the blues, like, it hasn't been the easiest. I still love them through it all, but they know how to wear me down. But I look at my younger kids, and I'm like, you know, it's almost an enjoyment all over again. It's like reliving the stages that I've already gone through with my teenagers. So it's give and take, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they literally give me a run for my money, for sure.
Would you change it? Would you change it at all?
No, I wouldn't.
I would.
You would?
We're gonna come. We're gonna come back to that. Whitney.
I've got a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, 9-year-old. So I think the 1 and the 3 says enough.
They driving you crazy?
Driving me crazy. But what Mercedes said was real. Giving you something to live for. Because I've had so many times in my life where, especially with my 9-year-old, where I felt like giving up. And so
Yes,
she, especially her, you know, I had her when I was 24, and we went through things with her dad. And so she gave me something to live for. And now I've got my other 2. But they're bad as hell. But
girl.
that's why I gave it an 8. So that's my answer there.
Chris, how do you like being a mother? Joke.
It has its days, huh, Chris?
No, but that's great to hear, guys. Like trials and tribulations, I'm sure you guys all went through that with one of your kids, right? Which one is the one that you fought the most, Mercedes?
So I have 3 girls. I say angels loosely. But my son is my oldest. He's 14 now, and he's the one that's giving me a run for my money. And that has been since day one. I mean, he got kicked out of daycare. He got suspended from kindergarten. He has been if I would have known, if I didn't know then what I know now, boy, I wouldn't have had no more.
Girls are easier, is what you're saying.
Huh?
So girls are easier?
Girls are easier.
Since
I don't know if that's with everybody, but I know in my life with me, yes, my girls are much easier. My boy is, I mean, like, if you're talking about, like, diagnosis, my boy is ODD, ADHD. I don't medicate him because I don't, you know, all of that. But
Have you considered it?
yeah, I've tried it. As a single mom, there's schools that won't help you unless you're medicating.
Yeah.
There's schools that'll be like, come get him. He's acting out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he said that he didn't take his medicine today. Come get him. So I'm like, it was a time where I was giving him a placebo so that he was telling them that he took his medicine so that they would have more patience with him. You know what I'm saying? They would work. It's crazy. But my son is definitely the one who, I mean, yes, definitely. My girls, I mean, like, it's regular stuff. I have a 13-year-old. She steals my socks. I have a 9-year-old who thinks she's 13. And you know what I mean? So, I mean, my girls, yes, but not as much as my boy. My boy has been the one that has, like I said, if I'd have known then what I know now, I probably would have only had one kid.
Facts.
Go ahead and comment on that, Mrs. Facts.
No, real talk. Like, everything that she said is real. You know, besides the diagnosis, I try to get my son diagnosed. I have one boy and 3 girls. My oldest is a boy. He is 16. The rest are girls, you know. And a lot of the times he blamed that, you know, growing up with an all-woman household, like all girls, you know.
Mom, I hate
So
girl
is
trash.
that the one
For
that you
real.
say is the one that you have
Oh,
the
for
most of?
sure. It was my oldest, but then as he got older, he kind of grew out of that. He actually grew out of that, I would say, within the last 6 months. It's not just been something that was sudden, but I could definitely tell a gradual change. So look for that maybe.
I say me
like,
too.
yeah.
My son's 14, and
Yeah,
I look
look
back
for
and
that.
like
Yeah.
2 years ago, he's not acting the same as he was. Or,
Yeah.
you know, kindergarten, he got suspended for throwing a chair and broke a girl's
Same.
finger. And I'm
Yes.
like,
it was very rough, and I don't know if I could handle it in his teenage years because of the fact that he was just so loving and different in his adolescent years that I just was like, okay, he will grow out of this. But then he grew into it, and then I was like, okay, well, this is actually a bigger problem. But I can honestly say that he's transitioning into a more suitable adulthood.
Yeah.
Like, he would be okay, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was my problem child for a long time. He gave me the absolute worst years of his teenage life.
What was it, a lot of like yelling and back and forth with each other?
It was more than that.
was
We're not
so
going to touch on the depth of his behavior
Yeah.
dude, I
because
will.
it's traumatic a little bit for
Okay.
me, so to speak. But I would never put my hands on my son
Yeah.
to the point where I felt like I was achieving a goal. Like,
Yeah.
this is not me succeeding as a mother because I beat you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're moving past that, and he is growing, and he's being more of a responsible adult, so to speak, a young adult anyways, because he's made some choices in his life that has made him realize that life is a little bit
okay,
more
but
serious.
ever at one point, because now you have other kids, if ever at one point did you ever question, like, dang, like, what am I doing wrong as a mother?
Of course.
What am I doing wrong as a
Of
mother?
course,
that
I-
he's
Hold on,
not-
guys. Before we touch on that, Whitney has to go on
But-
hers.
My second problem child would be my teenage daughter, who is 13.
You have a
She's
second problem child.
she's touching it. She was never there, and she is now
Great for you,
there.
baby.
Yeah.
You got it rough.
So I have another situation outside of that situation, and you know, all you can do is keep fighting. And I think as a mother, you try to cover every base, but
Just as long as you don't give up, you stay there. I mean, that's
You don't
the main
give up
thing.
and you stay there. You don't
They're
walk
gonna
out
see
on
that
your
as they
kids.
get older. They're
Yes.
gonna see that you stayed there, even though
Yes.
they're gonna look back on it and like, oh, I was doing this, and this, but my mom was always
She was
there.
always there.
Yeah.
She was
Oh, no.
always working hard.
To
She
me, in
was
my head,
always doing
I've given up
whatever.
multiple times.
Yes, in
I've
my
given
head,
up
I have
multiple
literally
In your
shut
head, though.
down.
You don't
girl.
want them
I
to
have
see
shut
that.
down, but at the end of the day, as long as what he said, as long as I am present and I show that my efforts are consistent and I've never given up on y'all, it's got to show for something. It's got to. When they get older, they'll be like, I wish I would have never done my mama like that.
And it will. It will.
I hope so.
It will.
I
It'll
hope
show
so.
for something.
Whitney, who's your problem child?
Well, let me say this first. So, my husband and I really wanted a boy. We've got 3 girls, and y'all
We
are
talked you out of it.
y'all. Oh, we're done.
I
We're
got
done.
one you can borrow. Say when,
We're
baby.
done.
Girl.
You know, it's hard to tell. My 9-year-old, she's glorious. She's so sweet. And then I've got 1 and 3. So I don't know that I have a problem child, really. I mean, I've got that
Should've,
1-year-old that's in that 1-year-old stage, but we're kind of in we're going to figure it out stage. So no problem child for me yet. Just the crazy one.
Which one is giving you the most like trouble though? You told me
the 1-year-old.
the 1-year-old. You
baby-
said she's mean earlier, didn't
Baby
you?
She sure
Baby
did.
Debo. Baby Debo.
Baby Devo.
She is
That's my bike pump.
in the 92nd percentile for height and weight. She's big, and she will walk up on you and take it out of your hand, and she don't care who you are. She don't care where she's at, but she's going to take it from you. So it's the 1-year-old right now.
The 1-year-old.
I love that age. If I could go back in time, just a 1 to 5.
I'll tell y'all this. Like my daughter, I think my favorite age with her was a 4.
That's a
I think
good
it was.
age.
I think it was 4. 4
is a
for
good
me
age.
was my favorite
Independent
time for her.
enough, but
Yes.
still need me enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Independent. She's super
Yeah,
independent.
you can go potty on your own. Ain't gotta wipe your butt no more.
Yeah.
But
Saying a few
still
cuss
love
words
and
and I'm
need me.
laughing about it.
All right. Did y'all want to go back to before I cut y'all off a little bit? I wanted to
No,
get her.
no.
No, we're good.
No, I just really know how it feels to go through a stage with a particular gender and age. I don't know if it started from, that young and then moved up to the age that he was, but I did notice those patterns. It wasn't something that I overlooked. Like, I did go get him evaluated. And I was like, what is the issue? Why is he tipping desk over? Why is he trying to fight his elderly teacher? You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't just like, oh, this is normal behavior for like a 5 and 6-year-old boy. No, this is like, I need to dig deeper into his brain.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
it wasn't normal behavior though, because he's my oldest.
They
He's
said
my
that
first
he
one.
didn't have no issues.
You're
Right.
studying the tradition. Like I said, if I'd have known then what I know now, I'd have only had one kid.
They say
Because-
watch who you have kids by. And my son's family has mental health disorders that I never grasped onto before we conceived.
Mine
if that
don't, but
makes
it's a big
sense.
difference of like, I feel like as a boy, you need the presence of a man.
Yeah.
They do.
And I hate
They
to say
do.
like need
No.
because I feel like financially and physically, like I give my son everything that he needs.
Of course.
But emotionally, I can't teach
You
him
can't
how to
be a
pee in a
man.
toilet. I was
You
freaking
cannot.
out trying to teach him how to chase the Cheerios because we don't have the same equipment. So I'm like,
Girl.
you gotta just, I don't know how to do that. So like as a mother going through stuff that I've obviously never been through, and then not only
Yeah.
that, but being like I was in foster care, so I'm like I never, you know what I mean, even like had boys around me long enough or whatever, but it was like I'm seeing behaviors from him and I'm trying to discipline those behaviors, but also trying to understand those behaviors. But I also have 3 other girls that if they would act that way, you know what I mean?
I
would
hold
have
my
to
girls
treat
to a
them
different
differently.
standard.
I know, but
It's
that
crazy.
does that not like borderline your mother? Like you don't want to
Yes,
be
but
like
I think
a
men.
certain
I think
mother.
men do that the same. Men do the same thing.
That's my trouble.
Yeah.
But I hold my daughters to a different
hold them to a
standard
different
than
standard, too.
my son's behavior. Like, you will not do what your brother did or does. Like, you will never behave the way he did or does now. Like, present tense and...
Maybe I based that off like how I was raised. Like there was. We don't gotta get all in depth, but there was a lot of favoritism in my household
get it,
growing
girl.
up
I
too. So
swear
it was
to
like I
God,
don't
I
want to be
swear.
that. I don't want to
Yes.
be that mother. I don't want them to have that.
Favoritism
it's
is a
hard.
real thing in the household, and I hate that shit. Even with my mama, as a grandma, she does favoritism with her grandchildren, and I just be like,
But do you do favoritism with your
she
children?
says I do, but I love my kids
just
all the
don't see
same.
it.
Exactly, I don't see it, but I love my kids all the same. But maybe I do pay closer attention to one kid
Oh,
over
we do.
the
Yeah,
other.
I mean, yeah. I
But
know
for
I
the
do.
longest, it was just my son, and it was just like, I love my son so much. Like, I will give him the world because I didn't have the world growing up. You know what I mean? I didn't
You
have
live
that.
through your kids. I do too.
You live through
Here's
your
You live
kids.
like
That's
I
some
live
real
like
Plus,
shit.
do you guys think that you guys have a certain, I wouldn't say energy, but you guys have like that favoritism thing that you guys were talking about towards your first, because it's your firstborn. It's your first.
Not
Absolutely
anymore. Not
Not
anymore.
anymore?
No, because I had other children and
Yeah.
I found love for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is your expectations higher for that first child though?
it was for the longest and it gradually declined. And why I say that is because he showed me consistently, no matter how much direction I would give him, it still was the same outcome. No matter if I pushed you so hard to be this great kid in sports, or I wanted you to do this in order to, reach this goal, he still did not want to. And that's where I have to believe that even children are people. Like, I can't make you be someone who you are not.
Lead a horse to water, but you can't make a
Thank you, man.
Right.
Because that's some real talk.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys another question. That's really good. Good topic. I'm going to start with you, Whitney. Did you always think that you was going to be a mom? Did you always think? Did you always know? Did you always want to?
Ooh, that's a good question. No, I actually never really thought about it until I married my college sweetheart, and with all 3 of my pregnancies, I've had hyperemesis. It's where you just throw up and throw up and throw up, and I was hospitalized. And so, with my first, she was the worst, and that's when I went through a whole lot of mental health stuff because I was so sick. And I said, that's the only one that I will ever have. And then I, got a divorce and met my husband now, and we had 2 more, and I was just as sick, but the support was different. So, growing up, I never played like, oh, I want to be a mommy or anything like that. No. I always wanted to be a businesswoman, which is what I am. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say you still are. So
I'm both.
Best of both.
I'm both, the best of both worlds. So
do you enjoy it though? Do you enjoy like being a mom when it happened, when you had your first kid?
yeah, I did. Her dad and I split whenever she was 1, and so that was really traumatic. And I will say now though, I enjoy it. I feel bad. I feel bad for my 9-year-old because I went through from her being 1 until maybe 4. I went through a whole lot, divorce, just crazy stuff happening. I'm not gonna call him out on here, but
It's fine.
went through a whole bunch of stuff, and so I feel bad because I wasn't the mother that I am now to my other 2.
Facts. That's some real talk right there. That's some real talk.
And
right
I thought
there.
I was doing it right because I got married at 24 after I graduated college. I was like, oh, I'm doing everything right. And like, I'm 37 with 1-year-old now. And so it's funny how life, you think, oh, you're doing it right by getting married to your college sweetheart. And I mean, no matter what, no matter you graduate college, no matter how old you are, like life hit me hard.
Is
Like,
there really a right way?
there's
though?
not a
I
right
gotta
way.
touch on
There's
what
not.
she said though. You
There's
felt
not.
like you failed your child. I don't know how many times in my parenthood, my motherhood, that I felt like I failed my child, but you didn't. You did not fail your child. You did what was very best for your child.
Yeah.
So I have to give you your kudos for that. Like,
Thank
you're a stand-up woman. You are still the woman that you were supposed to be, and your daughter still has a good life regardless of that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So yes, as mothers, we always fall back on, oh, we failed, like it's a failure feeling, but we did it and we actually gained. So I did
right.
want to touch on that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Appreciate
ma'am.
Mercedes, did you always know that you were going to be one? Did you want to be one? Because you grew up a little different. You can cuss. You can cuss on here, but I'm just saying you grew up in a different atmosphere, so
Yes.
you didn't.
I was in foster care. I was very adamant. I was never going to have my own kids. I was going to adopt. I already knew what age I was going to adopt. I knew that I was going to go to college. I mean, like, I had everything mapped out.
One kid, so you wanted.
No, I
want
did.
kids
I
in your
did
life.
want kids. I did not ever plan on having my own kids. As a victim in foster care and all the stuff that I had been through and I experienced, I wanted to be somebody for other people. I never planned on having my own kids.
What would be the difference between having your own kids?
Not
and-
necessarily a difference now, but at that time, I
Yeah.
felt like it was a difference. I felt like I was going to make a difference for somebody else. There was so many crappy
Okay,
homes.
so
There was
that's-
homes that got
okay.
shut
Yeah,
down
yeah,
while I
yeah.
was in them and stuff like
Because
that. So
you
I
knew
wanted
that
to
side
be,
of it, yeah.
Right. So I wanted to be a difference. I wanted to be a different atmosphere. I wanted to be, a different
Yeah.
resource for people.
Oh, yeah.
So that was my goal. Having my own kids was never in the plans. I got pregnant at 17. I had my first child at 18. I was pregnant during prom. Like, that was my first kid, then turned around and had 3 more. But anyways.
You know what I'm saying?
But no, I never planned on having kids. Obviously, when I did, I made the most of it.
Did you ever have a set number of kids? Like a set, like, hey, I want to have 3 kids, 6 kids, 8 kids, like.
No, I said I wasn't having none.
Or fostering.
They just kept coming out. I didn't know where they was coming from or what I was
many.
doing to make them. They just kept coming out. So, no, I'm just kidding. But
I guess that's a guy thing, man. Always have a magic number.
well,
Wasn't no
I had
kids
the boy
involved.
and then I had the girl back to back, and I thought I was good. I had a boy and a girl, and I had whatever. And then like years later, got pregnant again, and
I feel you, girl.
but no.
I feel you.
So, Shaylin, name me a time where being a mother was really hard. Like it can be from you getting in an argument with the kid and you had to like put your foot down, or something that was that you just had to do that made
Every
you
time I
feel
whoop
bad?
their ass is hard, dog. I be crying with them. We both in tears. No, but really,
Depends what
what
they did. I might be happy about it.
I'm whooping your ass, and you sad, and I'm sad. We all sad. No, but
I don't want to do this,
Yeah,
but
you
I
made
gotta
me.
it's gonna hurt
do
me
this.
more than it hurts you.
Yes.
Okay, but no, like I had touched on earlier, like with my son, that literally was the hardest time of my motherhood. If you want to call it parenthood,
Yeah.
motherhood, us growing together, you know what I'm saying? Because I did have my son young. I had my son whenever I was 16. Like we basically grew up together. So he went through my rough patches where I was still immature and out at the club, but I always came home to my child. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that he remembers that at all, but it's more so that he found his own personality and he ran with it.
Yeah.
And when someone's personality is much stronger than yours and you don't have a common like middle ground, that can take you fast. And it did me because I was like, who are you? Like, I don't even know this kid in my house. Like, you went from my loving, caring child to someone that I don't even know. Like, it was very hard for me in those stages. It was about 2 years long, and I fought through it. I mean, that's us as mothers, though. We have that strength. And I'm not taking
Perseverance.
away from fathers because fathers do have that. But when you are in a single parent household, you have to find that strength for two. You don't have that other
six,
person
or
to stand up for you. It is just you. You only
Yeah.
have your backbone.
Yeah.
And sometimes as much as you stand on that, as much as you believe in your own strength, sometimes it's just not enough.
Yeah.
And you just hope that it is to get, through, like make an impact on your child, because I felt like I was almost losing my son without losing him,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He was strongly opinionated. He wanted to do his own thing. He wanted to
That was you and him right there, though.
Exactly.
Strongly opinionated, wanted to do his
Facts.
own thing. That was
And
you
I
looking at
think
yourself
that
in the mirror.
Exactly. And it's just a circle right there. A circle, because it's like I'm seeing you in myself and you. And it's just like, I can't fight this at the same time. I wish that I could. So you really give it to God. And I don't know how religious you guys are, if that's okay to talk about on
it's
this
fine.
podcast, but I literally gave it to God. And I just asked, like, please help me in this situation, because I did not know where to go or what to do in that moment. But we are in a much better place. I love my son. He loves me. We're stronger than we were 2 years ago. But in that particular time, I was losing a battle that I could not fight.
Right.
And that's a very hard pill to swallow as a mother.
Yeah.
It is. Like, I can't tell you how many nights I cried myself to sleep or woke up crying or stressed and at work, just feeling just so defeated. But again, times change. You push that into your children. You continue to do the things that you do, push goodness into them, and hope that, they finally have a breakthrough with that. And for the most part, I feel like we're at a good spot. So,
Yeah. What about you, Mercedes?
What about me?
This is a question I wanted to ask you. From then and to now, like, how do you see yourself? Right now, as a mother, what you went through? Like, you persevered a lot. There's a lot that they don't know. A lot of things I don't know anything, but I've always seen you as a pretty strong person when you had to be. But every once in a while, there's those breakdown issues that you've had, in life. So from being a mother, from being young, and being a mother from now, what do you think that you learned?
It's like you're asking me the question, I'm tearing up, so if that doesn't answer for itself, then I don't know what you
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do
Not
that.
that. It's like, just hearing her, it's like times when I had to steal formula, steal diapers.
Yeah.
And
hey,
as
I
a
want,
young mother-
before you continue, if there's a question I ask and you don't want to answer, you can always say pass. Okay.
It's not that. I'm
Okay.
just a crybaby. That's all.
No, I am too, girl. Come here, let me see that hand, because I
I'm
promise
just
you.
a crybaby. That's all.
I promise you.
And it is a lot. It's a lot because I've been a mother for 14 years now. And
Yeah.
there's a lot that has happened in such a little time. That's a
Look at
lot.
where you're at now. Make sure you look at where you're at, where you came from. Like you.
And even now, like we talked about. I mean, I live vicariously through my kids. I give them
Facts.
birthday parties that I should not be giving them. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put them in dance and, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that I never got to participate in. I'm like, I had so many Chuck E. Cheese birthday parties as like combined with other kids, like the families
Same
would like get
birthdays.
together, right?
Yes,
That I'm like, no, we're not doing no Chuck E. Cheese. I fly, and you know what I mean. I'm like, $800. What, you know?
Same
like, I
girl.
live through my kids,
I
so
do too.
I am blessed and grateful that I'm in a different position now, especially financially, than I was when I first became a mother, because my son and my daughter are so close together, aged together, that neither of them are walking when I had both of them. So I like one in the carrier and one on my hip.
15
there was
and
no
14 or
quick,
Oh,
15
girl.
and 13?
no 14 and 13.
14 and 13.
And there was no quick trips to the dollar store, and it was just me. So it's like, if I needed diapers or wipes or toilet paper, there was no just like, oh, I'll just leave y'all in the car and run in. It was like, you know.
And there was no DoorDash.
There was, exactly. Yeah, now I use Walmart
It was a
delivery. I take
struggle.
full advantage of Walmart delivery.
me
but,
too.
Right.
But at that
Yeah.
time, there, you know what I mean? There wasn't that. So it was a lot of, by myself, there was a lot of times I lived off of scrambled eggs and oatmeal. And that was what we had all day, every day for a very long time. A very long time.
But your kids lived through that.
Yeah, they don't
and-
remember that, so.
But they lived through
It's all
that.
right, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, like, honestly, sometimes I wish they would remember, because sometimes, I mean, like, just yesterday, I'm like, going on a rant about how, like, I don't have to pay $300 every time you guys need your hair done. I don't have to.
Girl,
You know what I'm saying? Pay,
same.
like, daughter's birthday just passed. I don't have to pay for all of that. I don't have to. I'm not going to go to jail if I don't do that. I wish that
$100
you guys would just
jeans
be.
and StockX shoes. Come on now.
And, you know, my kids go to UConn, and they're a little bit more, you know, like,
Uppity.
bougie, you know? So I'm, like,
Yeah.
trying to, like, you know, I don't want my kids going on.
You don't
going
want
to
your
that far.
kids to live with what we went through, because I did have a hard life too, not foster care, but baby.
But that's parents
it
in
was-
general. We always want we want what's best for our kids and want them to have
be a
better.
little bit higher, more higher, and then you regret it because you're like, "Am I ruining my child?" And I felt like I ruined my two oldest kids.
I don't think I spoiled them enough to say that I ruined them. I just want them to. I understand they're not going to be grateful and appreciative now, but I want them in a few years to understand what I went through to make all that happen.
They definitely will be like as
you
they get
guys
older.
keep saying that
'cause-
because you're not the only person that's like, I've heard all of you guys say that. Oh yeah, it'll pay off, but will
It
it?
doesn't.
How do we
No,
know
no,
It
that?
so-
doesn't necessarily pay
hold on,
off
hold on,
for
hold on.
me.
I'll give you an example. I think it will pay off because from what we've all been through as adults, when we were kids or when we were younger, we see it. And what's the thing that we tell our kids all the time? Like, I'm only telling you this because I've been through it.
And they
I've
don't care.
honestly been through, right. They say that now,
They
but
don't care.
But this is one thing that's always stuck with me in my head. I say the same shit my mama told me to my daughter when I was her age.
We're doing the same thing.
And I'll literally be saying it and be like, oh my God. My mom said the same shit to me and look at me.
Just
That's
like
the
my mom.
that's
You know?
the problem though, Josh, is that my mama didn't say that stuff to me when I
But
was little.
but you're
That's the
but,
problem.
Me too.
But you're saying it.
You know
though.
what I'm saying?
You're
Like-
but Shaylin, you're saying it though.
This is what I
But-
wish somebody would have told me when I was
I
little.
wish that I would have had the guidance that I would have, that like I'm giving my children, because it's not like I had that growing up. It wasn't like my mama was telling me, you know, like do this, do that. Like,
You had a lot of freedom.
yes, I did.
Too much freedom.
And it wasn't because that she wanted to give me that freedom. My mama lived through addiction. So we lived through addiction. So guess what? We struggled with her. And as a mother who's not struggling through that, I'm not addicted to anything. You know what I'm saying? I do like to go out and have my fun. I hope my kids don't hold that against me when they get older. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I'm not a mother struggling against the things that my mother did.
Right.
And my mother, even to this day, will say, I wish I would have gotten myself together for you girls.
But that goes back to my point in like you're doing what your mother didn't do for you for your kids.
But
now.
I never heard that from her. Like,
right.
you know
but you're saying it though. You're saying it to them. So as they
but
get older,
they're
they're gonna,
still being bad as fuck.
yeah. Kids is gonna be bad. I mean,
And when I
they
say bad
definitely-
as fuck, I mean bad as fuck.
There's a difference between, I mean, like, not like that, but like my day job, I work in a different demographics that I see kids that are baby kids. Okay, I see
Yes,
kids every day
ma'am.
that I'm like,
I can attest to that too.
what?
You know,
Like, you know what I mean? My kids, they might wear me thin, but they're not baby kids.
right?
Okay, they are not. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like
they are.
I can. Oh,
Wit, what about you? I gotta get them off of that.
So yours are baby.
Girl,
okay,
when I
no,
say
no
bad,
barbecues at her house.
they bad.
Okay, wait. What's the question? Because I'm sorry.
I know I
I'm
don't get
lost.
lost in the conversation too.
What was the
Same question I asked them, like from then and now. From then and now, like, what do you view yourself like? What have you learned from the beginning to now? From first becoming a mother, first going through that, and now, have you learned about yourself?
I think I have more patience now. But you know, it's interesting. Like hearing their stories are their stories, and you know, having babies young is totally different.
And that's the point of this.
From me.
Yes.
And so it's interesting, and I admire your strength. And I was a single mom, but a single mom for 2-3 years before I got remarried. And just those 2-3 years were rough. And so, like, I admire y'all for that. My mom had me at 17. And so I was raised by my grandparents. My mom went into the Navy, left me with my grandparents. So I had a different life, too. Not having my mom or my dad in my life was different. But my grandma and my grandpa were very set on, you will not have a baby young. Like they felt like it was their fault that my mom had me at 17. But like I said, even though I was 24 when I got married, 27, I was 27 when I had my first.
Really?
It's still, my stuff still got all fucked up. Like,
But still, at
like,
the same time, I respect that
it's-
because I was raised in a similar household with my grandparents, and it was like, you're not going to have a child young. You're going to graduate.
Yeah.
You're going to do all of these things before you have a child, like get married. Like, this is the way life works. And I did not follow that pattern.
but see, I followed it.
And I see that. And I see that.
And I still ended up marrying an alcoholic, ended up divorced, ended up with, I'm going to get personal, ended up with a VPO, ended up with court charges during that divorce, ended up draining my 401k.
All while trying to
And
still be a
that's some
mother.
real
All
talk.
while being a
everybody
mother
thinks
by
that
myself.
If you have children at a late age, marry, and do all of this, your life is perfect. It's not always.
Yeah.
It's not always
not,
perfect.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that I love your story, but I do appreciate your story because we all go through many different walks of life.
Yeah.
So for you to share that with us, it's just like
It's
that's
society.
that's
Society
good for
is
me
built that
to know.
It's supposed to go in this order. This is what you're supposed to do. Not everybody graduates and immediately goes to college. Some people graduate, become a mother, get married, and then go back to college.
Thank you.
Like, it doesn't
The
make it
cycle
right or
of
wrong.
life
It's
is
because
different
society
for
has built this
everybody else.
norm
Yep.
that this is what you're supposed to do. Some people never go to college.
Well,
Some
but
people never.
the norm that I was taught and the norm that society, brought up on us was that you do get, go to college, then get married. And that's why I
And
ended
then
up
have
marrying
kids.
the wrong person.
But for
Because
you to
I was
share
following
that
this
is so
pattern.
real because I thought at first that you had children by the same person
Just
from the beginning. And I didn't ask you that because that's none of my business. You shared that willingly and I appreciate that. For you to be so transparent about that, like I appreciate that because I don't think that people understand that just because this person who had kids early and messed their life up, I didn't mess my life up. I still love my children. They're still good people and they're going to be great people moving forward, respectful and people to the community, get good jobs, whatever. But for you to say your side, it's the same as, you know what I'm saying? Like we can't predict our lives.
Nope.
We cannot, so.
Nope, you can't.
I think that's not the only norm that society has created or developed for us too, because it's a lot of, I really don't have to share this, but I have 4 kids and they all have different dads. And that's been a big setback for me as far as society goes, because that's not a norm. It's not a norm that
in your head you're thinking oh, I'm messing up.
Well, it's like, not really. Honestly, to me, like, I'm like, okay, well, I learned and then I moved on and I made a mistake with somebody else. And I made, you know what I mean? I have a friend who has 5 kids with the same person and he don't take care of none of them. So, I
Yeah.
mean, like, how do you know?
You
You
don't
know what I'm saying?
know.
Like, it's darned if you do and darned if you don't.
And that's why you don't. That's why you
Yes,
don't.
ma'am.
That's why I don't go around judging people because you
can't.
You don't know.
You can't.
And yeah, you don't. You don't know.
can't. You have absolutely no. And like, would she have had so many kids with the same person who doesn't take care of any of them if society hadn't created that norm?
Right.
Or would it have been like no? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, at least you can say, oh, I only have one baby daddy. Well, congratulations.
Good for you.
You have one deadbeat.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Out of you have 4 different dads of 4 different kids or whatever, at least 2 of them take care of your kids. It's a win. You have one person that don't take care of none of them. Like, what are you gaining out of? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just a lot of norms that society has created that I don't agree with.
They have, and they've put that on us. They've put it on us for sure.
Are you pausing?
No. Keep talking.
I think we're done. I'm just kidding.
All right, we're back. Little intermission there.
Jalen had to go pee.
So tinkle, baby.
All right,
She's a
let's
bitch.
get back to it. I had a question in my mind until we got rudely interrupted. Joking. So, we talked about a lot of deep stuff just not too long ago. I wanted to shine some light on something like you women being happy. You know, your happy place. Like, how was it when you first had like when you guys were in labor and then they brought you your baby? How was your feelings of like, I'm a mom now? You know, like, some new
Sorry.
shit. It's fine. We're gonna go with you, Whitney.
You know what? I was happy, but I'm not a crying mom.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't cry tears of joy.
See, we're all different.
I didn't.
But what was going on in your mind though? Was it did it just like hit you like I'm a mom now? Like I got another.
Do you want to know the truth?
Yeah,
I,
go ahead.
I hope Marley never sees this.
Okay.
Marley's not gonna see this.
That's my oldest one. No, the truth is like I'm ready to eat. Y'all, I was starved for 9 months.
like,
Like,
yes,
like I couldn't eat or drink or do anything. I was so sick. But yes, I was happy and joyful. But you mean to tell you something else that happened? So my grandparents raised me. My grandpa passed away a week before I had Marley. And
Yeah,
so
that's sad.
I went into labor the morning of his funeral. His funeral was at 2:30
Oh,
p.m.
wow.
I had Marley at 2:34 p.m.
See,
So that was going on in my head. Like I was missing my grandpa's funeral. So there was a lot of like
You're
emotions.
like, how quick can I get up?
Like, yeah, like it was just
yeah,
like a lot.
I would be in a
So-
very bad place at the same time of trying to be in a happy place. Like, how do you distinguish the two at that moment?
Yeah. It was like my grandpa's gone, but then I got this gift here. So it was that. And then with Mia was a preemie. Mia was born at 27 weeks. She was 1 pound, 13 ounces. So that was an emotional one. That one, I held her for 2 seconds, and then I was in tears. And then the third one, like I said, I don't really cry. The third one, I was happy. She was healthy, and we were good. And I was like, I'm ready to eat.
All different experiences. All different experiences. I
Yeah.
can't
was
imagine
weird.
how you got through the first, though. You know what I'm
What about
saying?
you, Shaylin? While we're on it.
I'm a very much of emotional
Well, we know.
person. Yeah, I'm a crier. Yes, I am, and I love to express my emotions. So that's not a big surprise. But I did cry with every single one of my kids, and everybody was like, "Why are you crying?" And I'm like, "I don't know why I'm crying." You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just an overwhelming feeling at the time that I was giving birth, but I feel like at those moments that I was in complete like state of joy. I will never take away from my children's births because at those moments I felt relevant. I felt like a sense of purpose. I felt like I was someone.
And I have captured all of those births like on picture, you know what I mean? And I look back on those now and I still get emotional about that stuff because it's like, wow, I brought this person into this world. You know what I'm saying? And whether or not they are who they are now or who they become, that is my person. You know what I mean? So yes, very emotional time.
Like the kind of mom that says, I brought you into this world and I can take you out.
I tell my son all the time, don't try me, honey, because I will.
Yep.
That's good. What about you?
No, no. I was like, are you going to wash them first? Like, stop trying to hand them to me. Like, how can I take a nap?
Baby
like,
on me.
Where are they finna? No, but yes, but no. But my first child was the only one that I actually had somebody in the room with me, like had the father supporting me, you know. And then he like tried to pass out. I'm like, bro, get up. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're taking the nurses away from holding my leg, so I'm trying to push the baby out, and you
Birth is hard.
Out. So I was a little upset about that, a little frustrated, like trying to take my spotlight, you know, or whatever. But the first one, you know, whatever. But after that, like all my other girls, like it was like we've already been here before. You know what I mean? Like, great. I'm glad you're healthy. My last one, Kennedy, she had we had Group B strep.
Oh
And I had 4 kids and never had that before.
Yeah.
I've never experienced
I had that
ever.
with my first.
And it was so different.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
lot like when they have jaundice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, we couldn't hold them, had to be under the lights, and it's cold in the hospital. So it's like I couldn't hold her. I couldn't put clothes on her. I couldn't. So I was a little bit more emotional. Like, you know what I'm saying? As a
that's
mother.
weird that you didn't get to hold her.
I couldn't hold her. That had to leave her there under the lights. I kept trying to put socks on her feet. They wouldn't let me. It was like, it was different. It was like emotionally different, like as a mother, because you're like, you want to cuddle your baby, you want to hold the baby, you want to put socks on her, you want to dress her up in all the cute clothes that I spent so much money on, you know,
Yeah.
and all of that. And I
So
couldn't
did
do
they
none
know
of
you
that.
had that before though?
Yeah,
Before
I had tested positive. You know, they test you for it or whatever. I
yeah.
had tested positive for it or whatever, but I didn't know what that meant because
How long ago was that?
Kennedy is 7, so I mean, I guess 8 years. Well, no, 7 years ago, because October will be 8 years. But and I had her at OU. So
October what?
26th.
Marley's is the 3rd. But she had the same thing, but I got to hold her and everything.
No, they were.
But they gave her
it was like-
antibiotics and stuff.
It was like the
before.
way they explained it was something about our bloods were having a reaction against each other or something
okay.
like that. That like basically was like life threatening. I don't know.
Yeah, I've
It
heard
was
of
like
something
very.
similar
We
to
had to
that.
stay in the
Yeah.
hospital extra days. I got discharged, but she didn't. So, anyways, that one was like a lot more emotional. But everyone else, I was just like, wash them first. I'll hold them when they're clean, and then I'll trust. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like
Wash them
a
first.
like. You
Wash
know,
that baby.
I do get what you're saying because like later on when I'm home and I'm like, I did this. Like I did
It's
this.
an
I created this,
unexplainable
it's grew inside of me.
feeling. Yeah.
1 minute I'm watching you punch my tummy from the inside, and now you're
You
like,
know
you're
what I
touching me and
mean?
cooing me and stuff like that. You know, like that's different. But
Yeah.
at the hospital, like I get too. Like I was exhausted. I was emotionally
Oh
drained.
yes, yes.
I keep tapping the table. Oh, sorry. I'm getting in
Even with
trouble.
my daughter, like the picture that my friend got, because they don't let you take pictures or videos in the delivery room, but the picture that my friend got of like my daughter coming out and the doctors holding her like this outside of my legs being open and you can't see anything, but it's really like the best picture you could ever imagine, like a birth being. Like
No, see, I
this
couldn't
is
do that.
angelic to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really did this. You know what I
couldn't
mean?
do that
Like
part.
when people say that, oh my gosh, you have 4 kids, I can't imagine, and I'm like, imagine what? Like these are my children. I raised these kids. I've taken care of them since the very beginning. You can't tell me shit. You know what I mean? Like, just because 4 kids seems hard to you, it's not hard for me.
Oh, it's hard for me.
And I get that. And I get that. It had gotten so rough, girl. Like, it had gotten so rough towards my son's teenage years and now my daughter's teenage years. Like, I've never imagined such torture. Like, it has really brought me to a low depression. Like, it's had me question my whole existence. Like, am I a good mother? Am I good to y'all? Do I deserve what y'all are putting me through? But at the end of the day, like everyone at this table has said, they will realize one day what I did for them. I never left their side. I never gave up on them. I never ran away. I never said I can't do this. And what I'm going to tell you now is that as mothers in different situations, we are still mothers and we deserve the respect of that. We gave birth to these children at the end of the day. So That's my only input on that. But my son has given me the blues.
I can't tell if they're probably. I mean, I had four pregnancies, and I honestly it probably says more about me than I want it to. But
Yes.
there's not a single pregnancy where I didn't contemplate abortion. I just
You
couldn't
know
go through with
what?
it. I couldn't do it.
You don't.
I'm like,
You
okay, I can't do this. And then again, the second one, I'm like, oh my God, I really can't do this. And then, the third one, I'm like, these kids are older and now I got to start all over again. I really can't do this. And then, I had another one, 4 kids by myself. I really can't do this. But here I am doing it.
Yeah. And
Doing
speaking
it,
on
doing it.
my kids who are
You trying to do
not
the clap?
like my friends who are not here, who literally started over, who have 16-year-olds and started over with a newborn. How? Why? Why would you do such a thing?
I can tell you how. I can't tell you why.
But they are rocking
know
that
why.
shit. And you know what they say? That they wish they could be the mother that they were to these children, that they were to their older children.
that's
You know what I
everybody.
mean?
You said that
You
too.
said it,
You
and
said
that's
that
where
too.
I drew back because I literally took back to my friends who much older children.
And yours is only a 9-year
9-year-old.
and you were older. Like, imagine being 17, 18, having your
know.
first kid, and then turning around
And then
being
seeing your
20-something,
mother
having
being
kid.
a
Like,
better
it's different.
version to your siblings.
Right.
That's but again, trial and error, and you grow up together, and you are still a good mother through that. Don't ever take away from what.
But like as parents, like as we're all parents here,
and I was gonna say that too. Even y'all.
I mean,
Y'all got kids.
We can ask for help. We can ask for advice, but at the same time, we're still figuring out how we're going to raise our kids.
Some of us
We're
can't
not
even ask
we're
for
not
help
going to
with us.
always raise our kids or the same things as how our parents raised us. We might take a few things from them, but
Bits
like
and pieces,
in
yeah.
the end, we got to figure it out ourselves on how we're going to raise.
Figure
our kids. How
that
we
shit
gonna-
out by yourself.
Exactly.
Real shit.
I
And that's
learned
me.
more about what not to do from my parents and how I was raised than I learned about what to do. I learned more about how not
Facts.
how not to handle
Not
stuff
how to handle my
than
kids.
I did about how to handle it. Like, I learned a lot about what I don't want my kids to experience or I don't want my kids to feel.
Yes.
Then you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
It does.
It,
Real
it does
shit.
because I would say like there's all kind of things that we've dealt with our parents, that we didn't approve of, and we didn't approve of how they raised us. That's not what we're going to do with our kids. I mean,
Right,
everybody
yeah.
has maybe everybody. I would think everybody has something that you went through with your parents or something that you went through with a grandparent or somebody that
Or we're not
that
going to do this.
I
over
didn't.
the
I
next-
didn't
yeah.
feel. I didn't feel like they chose the right decision on handling the situation that I was with. So me with my kid, I'm gonna handle it different.
I was in foster care. I wish my parents would have chose different.
Yeah.
And my parents struggled through addiction. I wish they would have not done that. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Made
hard to
us
have
fend for
sympathy.
ourselves. But at the end of the day, it did make me a stronger woman. Thank you for what you showed me as a child, because I know not to do that now, and not what to give back to my kids, and not what to do for myself, because my work ethic is so strong. Like, I worked every single day since my first was born. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've worked every day since my second, third, and fourth was born. I worked up until 38 weeks, 39 weeks of pregnancy. Like, I never gave up on my children. I never gave up on myself. And that's where we stand, is we don't give up on ourselves, and we don't give up on our kids.
Do you think that you would have been a softer mother had you not experienced what you
Yes,
experienced?
and I hate that.
Me too,
I'm not a
sometimes.
soft mother.
Yep.
I don't have very much patience, and I work on that daily. I wish and I pray that I could be a more patient mother, like I see at these parks that are like, oh, baby, don't do that.
Yeah, I said no. Okay, go ahead and get it.
No, I'll whip your motherfucking ass if you don't get your ass up.
Yeah, like, I told you twice. I'm not gonna tell you again. Like, even in a sense of, like you said, even maternity leave. Like, yes, I worked up until I went into labor, but not because
Yes.
I wanted to.
No.
Not because I'm like so dedicated to my kids, which I am. But I
No.
mean, that's not why I did it. I did it because I had to.
Thank
Who
you.
else is gonna pay these bills?
Thank
Who else
you.
is gonna keep food on the table and stuff while I'm in the freaking hospital?
I will
So-
never take away from a mother who has the other parent, the husband, the dad, or the boyfriend, or the stepdad. I'll never take away from that. But I've been a single mom for a long time, and I've been doing this shit by myself for a long time. And I take pride in that because I show up for my kids every day.
It's different.
So let me ask you guys this. This is going to be a little bit away from you, Whit, because you are married.
Yes.
You have somebody to help you with support and all.
Yes,
But
and I
for you
like that.
two ladies, like you said, you've done everything by yourself. Single-handedly, everything. So how hard is it for, I'm just saying, if you guys
You know
ever
what
had
I mean, the
experience
term.
with a man coming in, and how do you guys deal with somebody trying to help? Have you ever had that? Actually, have you ever
I won't
had
let
to try
nobody
to
in.
help?
I won't let nobody in.
You won't let anybody
I'm
in?
very shut off,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be very honest about that, is that I protect my peace and I protect my children's peace. Until I find the right one and I know this is the right one, I can't let that person into our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's the only way I can live by. I can't do it any other way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I've tried to break that boundary, but it doesn't feel
I don't think that's
comfortable to me.
I don't think that's a boundary that you have to break, though. You know, for you, that's your
I-
safe
That's healthy.
place.
That's a healthy boundary.
Yeah.
I
agree?
know women who are single
That's
and
not
who
me,
date,
but I agree with
but
her.
I cannot do that and feel comfortable knowing that my kids might be upset with this person. You know, they might not feel comfortable around this person. This person makes them feel uneasy, or they are not necessarily threatened, but it's something about this person that they don't like. And for me to throw that out completely and be like, well, your opinion doesn't matter, that's not okay with me. So I have separated myself from dating. I have separated myself from seeing people at this time. Not saying that I will never again, because I know that that's just human nature. We're attracted to the other person. We're attracted to the opposite sex. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But at this point in time for me, that is not my priority. My priority is my peace and my children's peace in our comfort zone. So I wish that it was as simple as meeting someone, falling in love, and being like, these are my children, and him like, these are my children, and then we all come together as one happy family. But that's not the case right now.
What's your take, Mercedes, on that?
A little bit different. Not criticizing you, or because I agree. Like, keep your peace. Like, that's your peace. But I think that we were made, like, we were created to have a partner. Like, that's what we were created for.
Yes.
So I think that in order for me to give my kids the best version of myself, I need to be happy too. I can't pour from an empty pot. I can't pour happiness into somebody and I'm not happy. Mm-hmm. So I have tried dating now. Granted, it hasn't worked out in my favor, but I have never, we don't have steps of, oh, okay, it's time for me to introduce you to my parents. We have steps of, oh, okay, it's time for me to introduce you to my kids. My kids are old enough, they will tell me, absolutely. The little one, she don't like nobody. She don't like nobody but her daddy. So I kind of take everything she say with a grain of salt. Everybody else I don't have no problems with. They'll tell me straight up. I don't like them, or I can just tell by their demeanor they don't like them. You know what I mean? But I don't usually have a problem. You know what I mean? So I do date, but it is levels to this. I don't just introduce my kids to everybody. I don't bring everybody where my kids lay their heads at. Like a lot, you know what I'm saying? So
I do.
It's a little bit different. Dating is a little bit different for me. I mean, I went 2 years and haven't dated. You know what I mean? And till my now boyfriend, but like I said, like I started out with, like I feel like we are supposed to be happy too.
I agree, and I want to touch on
all
that.
I have is my kids. I want to sit around and have kid talks all day. My daughter is 13. She will come home and be like, and then my friend was like, and then her friend, and then her friend said that. And I'm just like, I can't keep up.
No,
like,
really.
I need adult conversation.
Yes, and I want to touch on that. There's nothing wrong with dating. I've just chosen not to date.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to find your person, because there is someone out there for you. I promise. There is someone that is good for you and for your kids.
There's someone out there for you too.
But I have taken a break from that. But whenever I pick back up, I'm not opposed to dating.
Okay. What you trying to say? Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on that, because it's not that I'm just like, I'm never going to be with anybody ever again. Yeah. It's just that right now I'm really, really focused on my goals, and I've hit a lot of my goals. My ex brought me down to my lowest point. And when I say my lowest point, it wasn't even mentally. I'm talking about financially. My credit score was like 498, y'all. Like I was down and out. Like it was bad. You know what I'm saying? But I'm standing on a good solid ground now, because I focused on myself. I've rebuilt myself.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
You know what I'm saying? I want to enter a relationship being something to someone and them being something to me.
That's not always about being a mother, though. Like, as a person with no
Correct.
kids, sometimes you just got to
Thank
take a minute,
you.
focus on yourself.
Thank you,
before you get
honey.
into that dating
Yes.
where that doesn't always, you know what I mean? That doesn't always reflect as a mother.
Yes, because we are human beings. We're not just mamas.
Yeah.
Mamas need love too.
Yeah, I
honey.
understand that. Whitney, so different from you, you've had some support. Talk about like the support that you appreciate right now, like from your husband that you have that
Oh, my amazing.
maybe that you
my
weren't
amazing husband.
that you weren't, you know,
I love
so
that.
keen. What is it, keen or
I
whatever
love
to
that.
to getting, you know, the support.
Yeah, I do want to touch on what they were saying though, because
Go ahead, you do that first.
Because I was in that spot. You know, I was single, went through a divorce, dated a little bit, had some. We need a podcast on.
We need a podcast on those
wild
ones.
stories, y'all. But I did meet my husband. My husband didn't have any kids. It was just him. You know, that's how I know Josh. But he came into our life when my daughter was 3. So I was single for about 2 years. But like, it's been tremendous. Like, the way that he is with my daughter, who is his stepdaughter. He likes to say bonus daughter.
So you're talking about your oldest.
Yeah, my oldest, Marley, that's 9. The relationship that they have. So when she was 3, his name's Keandre. She couldn't say Keandre. She said Wandre. And so
I would have called him that.
She's 9, and she still says Wandre. And so I'll be like, hey, Marley, do you want to go with me and get my toes done? Or do you want to go play basketball with Wandre? I'm going with Wandre. Like, they have, like...
That makes you feel good.
Yeah, they have this relationship that is just, like, amazing. And the support that he's given me, like, and the things that he's taught her, like, how to be a good, just to be a good person in general. Like, he's taught her so much. Like, it's just crazy. The things that he's taught her that I feel like her dad, and shout out to her dad, I feel like he hasn't taught her. And so having that support has been different. It's been different because I didn't have that in my first marriage. Mm-hmm. And so when we had the middle child, Mia, the pregnancy was different. I was still sick. It was still hard, but I had support.
Right, which makes it different. A
And
different experience.
And then even like so Mia's the same age Marley was when they met, when my husband and Marley met. And so now we're like at the same age, and it's like just having that support from birth to 3 is so different, because I didn't have that with Marley. And so
does Marley have, like, this is probably too personal, but
It's okay.
is her biological father involved now too? Is like, everything better? So now she has like 2, like she has a dad and a bonus dad. And she gets the best. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
So it ended up benefiting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. He
takes a village.
And I'll say, you know,
It does take a
her
village.
her biological dad, he's a great dad. He wasn't a great husband to me. That's okay. But
People grow. Yeah.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
grow.
But we
You're
can't
probably not
take
the same
away from
person
dads
you
just
were
because
when
they're
y'all
not
were
a good
together
significant
but-
other either.
Yeah. So it's just been night and day having him as a support system, and having him, you know, as like, he's the best dad. He's best dad, best husband.
Shout out Dre.
Shout out Dre.
That's
That
my
guy.
guy. That's my
yeah.
guy.
You're heavy.
Yeah, the way she started with like, my amazing husband, I just knew it was gonna be great.
She's
He's a dope dude.
very
though.
highly
He really
of
is.
him.
He's a dope dude. He is.
I
He's
thought you
always.
said he's a dope dealer. I'm like, God,
That's
He's
hilarious.
actually a police officer.
okay.
I'm keeping all of this.
Oh man.
No, but ladies, what? I'm trying to figure out some of these questions I had to ask you guys.
You don't put them in your notes.
He got
No,
them all on the
because
top of his
we're
head.
actually over on time.
All
But
right.
it's no. We're good. It's all been good conversation and all. It's really been good. Great. Appreciate you guys all sharing too as well. I want to talk about like a happy point in time that you
So I was
guys.
gonna say too. I think we
Yeah.
talked a lot about negatives. If
Yeah.
we can just like
Yeah,
shed
I
some light
want-
on
I want to
the
do
positives.
some happy moments of you guys being moms, because I know you guys all individually, you know, different times, different places, different, you know, meetings and whatnot. And I chose you 3. It was supposed to be 4 of you guys here. Amber couldn't make it, but I chose you 3 because I've met you guys personally, and I know how hard of a work you are, how hard of a work you are, how hard of a worker you are. I know you've been through some things. I know you've been through some things. I see you with the kids all the time. You've always been a kind person towards me. Shaylin, we've been through some things ourselves.
Still kind interactions, but
Mercedes, we've
drunk
been through some
interactions
things.
at the same time.
Yeah. We're not gonna get on that. That'll be another podcast. We can talk about crazy moments and whatnot. But I chose y'all for a reason because I knew you guys would share, and I knew you guys would be willing to share. So I really do applaud y'all for coming on and sharing as much as y'all did. But let's talk about the happy times of being a mom and what that means to you guys. All right, I'm gonna start with Whitney. We'll start with you first.
Okay. Happy times. Every day is happy for me at this point in life. Dylan, I've got, like I said, I keep saying I got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Let me rephrase it.
Okay.
Tell me a moment where you had a mom moment.
A mom moment.
Like, had to be a mom.
And I mean this in the funniest way possibly, or good way at all. Like if you had to go up to the school and talk to the teacher because that's my baby, or you had to say something to a parent, or you're at a game coaching or yelling too much.
I was about to say, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So when you said the game, so Marley plays basketball, and that is my mom moment.
Yeah.
Because I played basketball in high school. Even though I'm like 4'11", I can shoot the ball. And
Point guard.
yeah, I was point guard. So just watching her play, and my mom came to one of the games. She was like, "You realize like these are 9-year-olds, right?" Because I was just like, just screaming. So like that is probably one of my proudest moments. She got Student of the Month not too long ago. Just seeing her up there with her little certificate, knowing that like I never got Student of the Month. I was a problem child. I was always in trouble. And so knowing that, oh, look, my baby's got Student of the Month, something I never did, like we're doing something right. Like her dad is doing something right. Like we're all doing something right together.
Yeah.
So that's always a proud moment. And then, with the younger two, like every day I look at them and I'm just like, just in love. Like I'm just like, oh, I want another one. But that's not gonna happen.
You ever see other little babies and like you having baby fever?
You're like, one more won't hurt.
I do, but thankfully my husband took
Yeah, I was
one for
gonna say.
he took one for
I was
the
gonna
team,
say.
but we're not having it anymore. So
Not gonna happen because you got your tubes or
She said her husband
No.
for the team.
no.
Yeah.
oh, I
he got
didn't hear that
he got
part because I adjusted my
Yeah,
thing.
he's very he was like, man, you've gone through so many, you've gone through 3 pregnancies, you've gone through all of this. He's like, I'll do it. Like he's like, I don't want you to do it. So yeah, he got snipped.
Shout out Dre.
again.
Wandre.
What about you, Shay?
I mean, there's different moments that make you a proud mom, but I mean, Key getting a job. Should I say my son's name? Okay, for my oldest getting a job, it was just like, wow, we're really here. You know what I mean? Like it was surreal a little bit. Like, how are we already at this point? Because
Like the time flies by, huh?
it really does. It really does. So him getting a job and him holding that job down every day, he's on time. He's reminding me like, hey, I need to go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the other kids, it's just little milestones that take me away. And there's not a better feeling than those, though. I'm not going to touch on every single one of them, but
no, that's fine.
there are the ones that just kind of make you tear up. And it's just like, wow, I'm a mom to you guys, and they love the hell out of me. They show me every day gratitude and hug on me and kiss on me and tell me that they love me and the same, you know what I mean? So
can I ask you guys
we're
this?
happy.
Is it awesome to feel wanted and feel needed and feel loved?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what, as they get older, we're going to lose that. And I'm starting to realize that a little bit, that my daughter's 13, she used to always cuddle up with me on the couch when we watching movies and stuff.
No, really.
She don't want nothing to deal with me no more, really.
I'm
Every
holding
once in a
on to
while
that.
she will,
Yeah.
but
Sad.
I missed the little her, as much. And
Yeah.
that's,
Yes.
yeah.
For me, if I let him.
What about you, Sadie?
I have a lot of moments, and don't get me wrong, I have a lot of moments that make me second guess a lot of stuff. But I have a lot of moments that I'm like, okay, pat yourself on the back, like this is a moment to be proud of. Like just small stuff when I'm getting dressed and my daughter tells me, "Mama, you're so pretty,"
Yeah, I love that.
and I'm just like. Or like, two of my girls are in dance and they will dance their little heinies off. And I have no rhythm. I have none. Zero. So I have probably negative rhythm. So when I'm watching them, I'm like, that's right. You know what I mean? Or just, anything. Just so much as, Mama, thank you. Thank you so much. Like, we appreciate, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And sometimes you feel like they're thankful right now because you have to. Like, they're obligated to be thankful. Like, thank you because I want you to keep doing it,
Mama, I want some Robux.
Roblox, yeah.
But when they're, like, thankful, like, sometimes I come home from work and there's a note written on the counter. And it's like, hey, sorry for, lately, blah, 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 but we love you and we appreciate you. And, written in their little frinky handwriting that I can barely understand. It's like, okay. All right, you yelled too much. No, I'm just kidding.
And we like to yell.
Okay, like, pat yourself on the back. Like, all in all, like, I'm doing an okay job. When you go somewhere else and somebody randomly compliments you, like, they're so pretty, they're so well behaved, like, you're doing a good job. Or you send them with I don't want to say a family member, but a friend, and they go over to a friend's house and the parent compliments, like, hey, you're doing a great job. Pat myself on the back because I see a different side of my kids, but it's good that they know how to act when they're, somewhere else. Okay, I'm doing a good job. Yeah. I'm teaching them respect. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Like, they, you know what I mean? So those are little, what are they? Little moments
wins.
of, little moments of accomplishment.
So that's great. I think you guys are all great moms. I've seen all the interactions. I see you online when you do take them to the dance things, pictures everywhere.
Booty.
But I like, just to put something in just on my side, Chris, I'm gonna let you say something too about yours as well. But the whole thing when you saying like people saying like your kids are good, you're doing a good job and stuff like that, I think that's the most satisfying thing I love to hear when she's not, because she's not around me. It's not me being on her butt at all. It's just her just being the person who she is, and she's being respectful. She's opening doors up for, older people without anybody having to ask her to. She's really good to younger kids. Kiana,
Kiana's
Shaylin,
a good kid.
she's always been very, very self-less. It's never been about her.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I was like, I don't know where you get that from. I mean, maybe me a little bit, but
I think so.
But I just don't remember myself being that generous. Like, she would give
Buy
toys
everybody
away.
drinks when you go to the.
Hey now. Hey, I retired from that.
He loves to get a little drinky drink.
No, I don't go out anymore. I'm retired.
Tray. What do you?
Hey, you
I'm
used to
retired.
always come to my birthday parties, and you barely knew me. So
No.
yes,
Josh is a very selfless
I've got
person.
pictures
He will
of you.
give
Oh,
the
yeah, I did
shirt
go to a
off his
couple.
back.
I did go to
You
a
went
couple.
to some brunches, some at
Did I go to a brunch?
Edna's,
I did.
yeah.
No, that was Keandre's brunch
I
at
thought
Cafe.
That was her
I thought it
brunch.
was mine.
Keandre hers. You know what I'm saying? It's all in one.
He's
One
always
and the same.
He's always around though. Down for
yeah.
it.
But
I pop
honestly,
up.
as long as I've known Josh and his daughter, I think those good qualities did rub off from you. I have not
hope
been
so.
around her mother as much, but I can speak from you and what you've taught her. And I can honestly say that that baby is a well-rounded kid. Like, she's
appreciate
very
it.
respectful. She's on her A game all the time. She's just a very considerate, compassionate person. So I do think that she learned some of that from you, because I've been around you long enough to know that that's your style.
Do you think that would change if you had more than one kid?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
It's hard to
I don't
balance
know.
yourself when you have multiple
because
without
of-
choosing
It is.
favoritism.
It's hard to balance.
This is the
honey.
thing.
Yes.
This is the thing. I know this is a little off topic, but I mean, I work in behavioral health and I work with kids. I work with 5 to 12-year-olds. So around my daughter's age, I see those kids all the time. And I don't treat them any different. I know they're not my kids at all, but
You don't have a favorite. You don't have one
I don't
that
have a
requires more attention.
No, I mean, we do have some that require more attention just because of why they're there and all, but like, I don't try to choose like favorites. I have kids that I remember that I'm like, man, he was bad as hell, but I really liked him though. He was a good kid that just had issues or whatever. But like, if it was my kid, I don't think I would treat him differently. I don't think I could. I think certain ways, like if it's a boy or girl, of course, I'm going to treat the boy a little
Don't
bit.
be sexist, y'all.
I think it's a double standard because I feel like boys needed more versus girls in certain cases, but girls needed more nowadays in this world we live in because
feel the opposite.
I don't know.
well,
because
I mean you can say this like I'm hard on Kiana because of like she's a girl and she's growing up in this crazy world and she's got to know when to get the fuck out of certain situations. You know, if you see something, leave. Because there's just too much bullshit going around. And girls, no offense to you women and all, but young girls are oblivious sometimes when it involves boys.
For sure.
Or peer pressure and all that. So, like, me personally, I'm trying to get her ready just to know, like.
So are little boys, though.
You know, but that's my
Especially
thing.
because society has changed the norm
Right.
to make them feel like at
Right.
13 you should already be involved. You should
Right.
already be doing this. You should already be smoking weed. You should already be having sex. You should
No,
already be...
but that's where I go back to saying, like, that's the other part of it. Like, boys need a little bit more because it's all out there. It's all out there for them to see more than ever. Than even when we were younger, you know, you've got TV, you've got YouTube, which is big. You got Twitch, you got
Kids at
school.
school.
You've got, I mean, you have all these things pulling
Right.
and grabbing their attention nowadays. You know, bullying is at an all-time high because it's not
telling
just.
you what the
Vaping
new
is at
norm
an
is.
all-time high.
I know we're off topic, but I'm just
Middle
saying,
school
us as
is-
parents, you guys as mothers,
It's
is what we
crazy
have
for
to deal
vaping
with.
right now. Like, I
Yeah.
can't even believe that 5th and 6th grade students are vaping. Like, that's wild to me. Like, what are y'all doing?
Wild. But
Yeah, no, but you're right. That's I mean, as a single mother, that's a struggle because you want to play good cop and bad cop.
yeah,
You want to be the one that's like, sorry, I keep making
you're good. You're good. You're good.
You want to be the one that's like, no, baby, that's not healthy. That's not right. But you also want to be like, if you do it again, I'm gonna put my foot so far. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you want to be, you want
I'ma
to do
beat
both.
ya.
And
But again, as mothers, I'm gonna ask y'all this question: as mothers, do you guys think that is so watered down now, like in how society views like parents or mothers or fathers parenting their kids a certain way? Because I can't talk to my daughter like she's my friend. I can't do that. I won't do that. You know, because you're not my friend. You know,
I
you're
talk
my
to Kylie
kid.
like she crazy. I
But,
say,
I mean,
try
but
me one more time.
I feel like sometimes they need like us to be a little mean to them sometimes so
I
they
gotta
can
be
get
mean.
it. I can't. I'm not a big fan of me yelling at you
No.
and then I'm gonna give you a hug right after it. No, because I need you to learn your lesson. Then you
yeah,
don't
but
think you can do
even
this shit
me,
again.
like I learned by like it. I don't know if they say it's my horoscope, but I'm not for my horoscopes. But I'm a Virgo. But I feel like things have to make sense. It has to make sense. Like,
Yeah.
why are you telling me I can't go outside? Why? Why can I not go outside?
I'm a
I
question
need you to know
asker,
that
yep.
you can't go outside because I'm not home. And if somebody hit you with a car, I'm not gonna. You know what I'm saying? If somebody took you, I wouldn't know until I got home. I'm not doing this to be mean, but this is the way it is because of this. Like I don't have a problem explaining that to my kid.
I don't
Yeah.
either.
I don't have a
I don't
problem
either.
explaining why you
I
can't
do.
use the microwave when I'm
I
not
do.
home.
If I
don't
say
have a-
no, it's no.
But when you don't got a good reason,
That's old-
it's just
that's
because
old
I said so.
no is no.
Because I said
but
so.
As a mother, I don't ever not have a good reason. You can't go outside while I'm asleep. Why?
Yeah.
Because I wake up and you're gone. You know what I mean? You can't.
I've always
I don't
explained
I
the
don't
why.
have- Yeah, there's
Yeah,
not a
you
reason.
have?
There's
You've
not,
always-
There's no.
Always.
I talk a big game, you know, but I'm pretty sweet on my daughter. I am. It's very, very hard for me
What?
to
You know.
to it's hard because she doesn't get in a lot of trouble, you know, and then when she does get in trouble, I have to be the dad. I have to be hard on her at some times. But like the one thing I hate is why are you asking me why if I told you to do something? You know?
Yeah, I don't like that.
I
part.
don't like that.
understand. I don't
But if
think
it's
a
something
disrespect
serious,
thing.
I'll just be like, you know,
Once I
this
explain
is
it
the
Yeah.
reason why.
first time, don't ask me
Yeah,
again.
but my kids don't ask me why. I volunteer that. My kids ain't
Yeah.
never been like, well, I won't say ever, but my kids 9 times out of 10 aren't. Why? Why can't I do that? I'm just hey, I'm telling you this, and I know that you may not understand, but I need you to understand why I'm saying this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not
I tell my kids to ask questions. Always ask questions.
transparency.
Yeah, it's fine asking questions,
Don't
but I'm
open
not
the
going
door
to keep
for
repeating
nobody.
myself.
I don't care if it's your little funky friends. Don't answer the door for nobody. Anybody that needs to get in here got a key. There you go. Yeah.
But that's my take on that. I mean, yeah, with the kids thing. But again, appreciate everybody coming for this Mother's Day themed podcast, Trials and Tribulations. These awesome mothers that are in front of me. Chris is a special guest because he was requested to stay. But I appreciate you guys coming. Mercedes, Thanks for coming, Shaylin and Whitney. Appreciate you guys. Chris as well. Guys, this is the Edgyverse podcast, and we out.
Give me a comment, I'm about to blow up. I'm smoking this gas, man, this shit got me stuck, and I pop me a beat, and I'm about to blow it up. Can't trust a hoe, man, you bitch, you be tweaking. I gotta stop, man, these hoes got me geeking. Call her Victoria, she got some secrets. Don't want your heart, little bitch, you can keep it. It's dirty day from the 918. Let's go. Give me a comment, I'm about to blow up. I'm smoking this gas, man, this shit got me stuck, and I pop me a beat, and I'm about to blow it up. Can't trust a hoe, man, you bitch, be tweaking. I gotta stop, man, these hoes got me geeking. Call her Victoria, she got some secrets. Don't want your heart, little bitch, you can keep it. I kill the comments and stay out the drama. I cannot stop, cause there's money to make. Swear I'm the realest, these people so fake. How do they do it? I cannot relate. I'm pouring up, I got smoke on the way. Off of the mess, say this shit to the face. Run up on me and I'm spraying the K. I got no heart, I got nothing to say. Don't worry about me, I'm just having a day. Got me some money, my pain go away. Got me a chain and I'm shining today. I'm done with these hoes, I got one on the way. I've been through too much shit, I hurt on my face. Ask how I'm doing, I tell you I'm great. I changed a lot, so I gotta give thanks. Used to cook ramen, now want me to stay. I could've died right on that mistake. God was on time, no he never was late. I'm still alive, so I guess it's my fate. Moved out the country, I moved out the state. I still got problems, I'm fighting my demons. Can't fuck with love, cause that shit had me tweaking. I'm turning up, going hard as my season. Spending money, I don't need a reason. Give me a cup, cause I'm about to blow up.